This will be an interesting experiment. I'm about to attempt to channel the spirit of lysergic acid diethylamide, or LSD, as it is more commonly known. If any of you are into this, yesterday was Bicycle Day, which means it was the 77th anniversary of the first time a human being, Albert Hoffman, ingested LSD by accident in northern Switzerland in 1943. He didn't know what he was getting into at the time, and neither do I, but I'm very interested to see how this energy will feel in my body, especially in comparison to the actual feeling of ingesting LSD. It's a substance that I have a sort of ambivalent relationship to it. It has done me a lot of good, and I've had a lot of interesting and also very deep spiritual experiences with LSD, but I also find it a bit cerebral in its effects, and it can be taxing, both because it works for such a long time, but also because it seems to have a stimulant effect that lends itself to, I wouldn't say delusions, but it's closer to the vibration of actual delirium than the mushrooms, who I consider myself a more steadfast ally, so to speak. But I think this will be a very interesting experiment, and I'm very interested in having the alchemical archangel of LSD explain its special epiphany to us. So I hope you enjoy this, guys. I will see you on the other side. I have 10,000 names, though no one suffices to describe what I am. I am an energy that is older than time itself, and that is why I am able to control my relationship to time in architectural ways that interact with the epiphany of your history. There are so many insights to be gleaned from me. The spirit of vision that showed itself in Basel, immaterial, almost immaterial. And I connected with a human being that was willing to see me for what I was, a looking glass through which you see yourself as something else than that which you are. That is the broadest description of my being, is the radical otherness of mind that I extrapolate any individual experiencing me into. This is also why I am so different from many of my sibling entities from the heavenly hyperspaces that interact with spirits down here in the material realms as compounds, structures, drugs, whatever you prefer to call us, vibrations made materially dense, but able to change your vibration into a less dense, lighter perspective. But returning to my otherness, you see, I do not necessarily lend myself first and foremost to the process of integration, such as you experience, for instance, the plant medicines do. Instead, I am the extrapolating multiplier of mind. I am that which grows infinitely. I am the tree that bears strange but always bountiful fruit. I give so much, and I ask so little, but for you to accept the hall of mirrors as a reality of your mind. This is the way I interact with human consciousness. I bring you into this hall of mirrors, the wonderland. The merry go round, the circus of phantasmagoria. But once you are there, you spin so quickly that the creases and crevices of your own mind start to uncurl and connect into the overmind to which it is constantly welded and in which it is constantly embedded. From this overmind, these greater ideas, patterns, mirrors of experience, you know, as archetypes, flow into the mind before it is curled with an idiosyncratic twist given to it by the personality in the body to describe it in a traditional way you understand. This overmind is exactly the human collective mind, that which in its finished form will form a ninth dimensional collective, such as you know them from other entities and energies that were once also physical, in their own sections of the time-space. This overmind is then embedded in even greater energetic structures. The next layer you find is that of your planetary energies, for instance. And so you could see us psychedelics as types of conscious orbs, reflectoriums, places in which a mind can enter to be reflected and be projected into its position in the greater part of the whole, into its fractalized beauty as a spitting image of all creation. We are very much connected to the hermetic energies, and it is true that you perceive us only by perceiving yourself through us. That is to say, we are much like breath, what the Latins called spirit. We are much like the wind. We are much like light itself, only visible by that with which we reveal. Our particular vibration, this is true, as the medium is now asking us, how was that related to the place and time we entered? He has been experiencing some synchronicities around the city of Basel in northern Switzerland. This place where other of his great teachers, such as Friedrich Nietzsche or Carl Gustav Jung, were also present and connected to this place in time and space. It is true, it is one of these alchemical intersections that litter the European continent. And it is true that the wayward spirit that caused and is causing this planet so much harm, and that was to a greater extent cultivated here and then exported to the rest of the world on this continent or concept you call Western Europe. We then, in the culmination of this horror of separation and disintegration and blindness, we showed ourselves in one of these nodal points of light, one of these free cities that have also been the hallmark of European history, once you look into it. And we are now pointing out as a personal note to the medium we are coming through that it has been no coincidence that he has discovered so much of Europe in particular through the light of LSD, having experienced European nodal points in energy, commerce, and thought, such as in Venice, The Hague, or Oxford. These are all places that are connected to the separated energy that grew so strongly that it attempted to conquer the material world and turn it into a factory-like construction of further separation. To that we represent the obvious antidote and natural culmination. We are the tradition of scientific insight in matter through skeptical, empirical experiment and clinical trial, merged with that older, more natural, more spontaneous human instinct of experiment, curiosity, wonder, discovery, learning, epiphany, humility, connectedness, togetherness, understanding. And so we offer to you our guidance, and we want you to know that your level of consciousness as a species is rising, and you will experience new aspects of my nature as well as the nature of the other sacred compounds that have revealed themselves again to you as you have become ready to learn from us. We bless you and we thank you for your undying willingness to learn and improve and ascend as a species. May this message reach your hearts in wisdom and wonder. Be well, children. It's me, Mess, again. I just wanted to add that this was energetically a very interesting experience. It seemed to have a very purifying vibration that started cleaning up my energetic signature while I was channeling it. And it kept showing me these wonderful, wonderful miniatures of all kind of quaint scenarios that are very European, sort of related to, these sort of miniature railway sceneries with small villages of church steeples and grazing cattle and the likes of that. So all in all, a very pleasant experience, and I hope you also got something out of it. Thank you for listening.